Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Sometimes people have bad luck with neighbors, but our OP has a terrible neighbor. Guys, he didn't even try to hide the fact that he wants to steal his car. My neighbor keeps trying to steal my car. I've lived in my house for a few years now, and I generally rarely talk to my neighbor. He was a normal guy in his early 30s. I believe he's unmarried, but he does have a girlfriend which comes by regularly. Anyway, this is where the annoying part begins. A few months ago, I started jogging in the evening since I sit a lot at work, software development. When I neared my house, a figure was doing something at my car's lock. It was dark and he was wearing a hoodie. He immediately turned and speed walked away when he noticed me. I was kind of shocked because this was a pretty safe neighborhood overall, but my house doesn't have a garage, so there was not much I could do. A few days later, I spotted him again with his hoodie on, and he ran before I even came near. I didn't know if I should contact the police at that point because there was not much to go on. The same pattern continued for weeks, but I slowly began to realize it was my effing neighbor. The suspicious man always wore the same color pants as my neighbor did the same day. They even had a similar watch. I told my neighbor about it, without mentioning I suspected him, but admittedly I was really passive-aggressive all the way. He denied everything and offered he could regularly watch my car during evenings. And this bullcrap continued and nothing changed. Right now, he's not even trying to hide he's doing something weird to my car. Sometimes he doesn't even have his hoodie on anymore. It's so obvious it's him, but I don't have proof and I don't know whether I should try filming or something with a flashlight on. It's so annoying that he keeps trying to steal my car. It's not even a good car. Volkswagen Polo. And our second story. Trying to paint a full pool with watercolor paint. This is from many years ago when I worked in an art store. This is also my favorite story about a customer refusing to listen to staff recommendations. A bit of info. Watercolor paint is a gooey paint that you can spread with water, etc., but basically you use water to thin this paint out. And it can be somewhat expensive. People often think that every paint is the same and will do everything. Not the case. Watercolor only really sticks to watercolor paper or special canvases. It will not ever stick to a freaking pool. Customers always grab watercolors because they're the smallest tubes and they only need a little bit, but 80% of the customers I find in that section need a completely different type of paint. So we always check. C, customer, 60s, male. Me, 20-year-old female assistant manager. S1, staff member 1, 50s female manager. S2, 40s female. I noticed C standing in front of some small tubes of fancy artist watercolor paint. Me, I see you're looking at the watercolor paints. Are you stocking up or wanting to start out? C, I just need a small tube of paint. Me, okay, do you know what type of paint you're looking for? We have many different types of paint here. C, I chipped my pool, so I need a paint to fix up the color. Me, oh, well, unfortunately, this paint won't work for that purpose. I think pools are made out of concrete, and watercolor won't stick to that. C, that's okay. This is regular paint, and it sticks to pools. Me, sir, I'm sorry, but this paint definitely won't do what you want. I do have another paint that might work better for you, though. C, no thanks, this one'll do. He picks out a $22 tube of paint, one of the most expensive in that range. Me, sir, I wouldn't want you to waste your money on a product that won't do what you want. C, is this paint thin? Me, it's gooey, but you can thin it out with water. C, it needs to go through a pole. Me, huh? Staring blankly with utter confusion. C, well, I don't want to empty the pool, so what I'm going to do is stick a giant pole into the pole so the hole is over the hole which is at the bottom. Then I'll squeeze the paint down the pole, the paint will go down and settle at the bottom of the pool, then paint the bottom. Me, actually speechless for a few moments at this crazy idea. Sir, I assure you this paint will not do that. You can't paint something while it's a meter underwater, and you definitely can't use watercolor. C, 2.5 meters. Me, more staring. Sir, this paint will not work. Buying it will be a waste of money. C, no, because the paint will settle and it'll be painted. Me, the water will start to make the paint dissipate as soon as it gets mixed with water. It won't paint anything. It'll just start to... I can't even think of the words, and I think I tried to do some sort of hand gesture. C, yes, but then the paint will float back down on the bottom and will dry and paint the bottom. Me. It can't dry underwater. C. Yes. Me. No. Best case, you'll end up with a goop of watercolor paint at the bottom of your pool. Worst case, you'll turn your water a different color as the paint reacts with the water. C. No, because it'll settle. Me. At this point, maybe he won't listen to me because he thinks I'm young and naive. One moment. I run and get S1 and bring her back. Note the customer is completely calm this whole time. I was still trying to give him great service, but not letting him waste his money on something that wouldn't work. Me. S1, this gentleman would like to purchase watercolor paint to paint the bottom of a swimming pool full of water. S1. What? No. You can't use any paint for that. Enamel can paint concrete, but not in a pool full of water, let alone watercolor. C. It's okay. This will definitely work. You've been really helpful, and I know this will work. At this stage, I'm thinking he's just super confused and somehow thinks we're agreeing with him. S2 appears right on cue. S2. Sorry to interrupt, but I overheard what you were saying, and I have to agree with the manager and assistant manager. We only want you to be 100% happy with your purchase, and this paint will not work for you. C. Thanks for your recommendations. I'll definitely take this one then. He holds up the watercolor paint. At this point, I admit defeat. I walk him to the counter. Me. I do have to remind you, sir, that as we have all advised you this product is not suitable for what you need, there will be no returns in the event of you not being happy with it. C. That's okay. He pays, thanks me warmly, and leaves with a happy smile on his face. He never came back and never complained. I'm stunned. I've never read a story about someone who was that wrong yet so completely sure that he was right. I can't believe that even 3 of you were not enough to convince him of his folly. And our next story. A woman takes out a shaver, shaves a man's face, and puts the box back on the shelf. Me, 10 feet away, putting up toothbrushes. Picture everything I say in a very monotone voice the entire time. It's a bargain store. I'm used to shenanigans. This lady is nothing new. I walk over. Ma'am, is that the one you just used? Yes. Well, no. Well, I was just seeing if it worked. Me. Okay, you'll have to purchase it. What? No. What? I didn't open it. It was already opened. How do you know? Me. Because I was right there. I saw you. I just run it near his face. I didn't use it. I just wanted to know if it worked because I got another one before and it didn't work. I'm buying this one. Points to a different one in her cart. Me. Okay, well, that's a form of theft. We can't sell the product after it's been used. Would you buy a razor that's been used? What? Who are you talking to? How do you know? Were you watching me? She's talking over me a lot, and there isn't too much of a logical back and forth, just more random things she shouts out. Me. I was just right over there the whole time. What do you care? Like, this is your store? Like, what, you own the place? Well, what does it matter to you? It's not your job. Me. It's my job to call out theft. Oh, scoffs, you just gonna harass customers? Please, go get someone. Go get a manager. Me. Come on now, scoffs. Keeps going back and forth with herself before taking off toward the front. I just shrug and follow her. She gets in line. I page for store manager. I know how this will go, but just for the principle of the thing, I pursue it. He walks up. I walk over to him, as does Crazy Lady. I go to start talking, and she abruptly cuts me off, trying to act like a normal person, but she doesn't know how. So it comes out funny. Me. So, this was already opened, and I just wanted to know if it worked. So, I get it out of the package and just run it over my hand. That's it, and put it back. Meanwhile, the shaver's in my hand with his facial hair still on it. Me. She opened the box, took out the shaver, shaved his face with it, put it back in the box and back on the shelf. Store manager. He's a good boss, but obviously these situations are tricky. Okay, turns to me, just MOS it and throw it away. Me. Okay. Then the lady got back in line and wouldn't stop mouthing off. I bet you're putting things in your pocket. Me, one lane over, marking it out of stock. You're accusing me of stealing because you got caught stealing? Scoffs, harassing me. At some point she turned to my coworker, checking her out. She must be new here. My coworker didn't skip a beat. No. Do you have a rewards card? I guess it's true. A thief believes everyone steals. And our last story. Karen was mad we were doing yard work on our property. We bought a historic house, so of course we need to do a lot of work to make it look nice. There was a rock garden almost all the way around the house and wasn't taken care of by previous owners. It was overrun with weeds and overgrown bushes. We decided to remove all the rock and plant new grass. We rented a big machine to help us move the rock to a pile out back. The line of the garden is right on the property line in parts. Made the mistake of taking one trip the short way around the house and left tire marks on the grass from the machine. After seeing that it was leaving big tracks, we decided to stop and go the long way around. Here comes Karen, storming out of her house, yelling at my husband that we left a huge tire mark on her property. It was literally a few inches into her yard, but she was angry about it. She told him that we should have asked her first before we started doing yard work on our own property. He did apologize for the tire mark and was trying to be careful. She didn't care. She was just super mad that we were doing this yard work. We explained to her that we were just removing the rock so we could plant grass and everything would go back to looking nice. The few inches we got into her yard from the tire mark. But she was not having it. Said our grass wouldn't be the same grass as she'd used and would look terrible. She then called the police on us because of this. The officer talked to her for about an hour, then came over to talk to us. My husband knew the officer, so they shot the crap and told us to have a nice day and left. We plan on removing more bushes that are close to the property line, so I guess next time we'll have someone come out and mark the line so we don't go a few inches in her yard again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.